Hi, and welcome to Commissioner's Corner. I'm your host, Lois Leonard, and thanks for joining us. Government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's a phrase many of us heard quite often growing up in our elementary classrooms, but what does that mean to you? Do you make your vote count? We're going to talk about that today and the many ways the city has made it easier to cast your vote. The Commissioner of the City of Boston's Election Department, Dion, is joining us today. He and his staff have been working all year to make it as convenient as possible. November 6th is right around the corner. It's time to vote. And welcome, Commissioner Irish. So
Thanks
glad
for having
that you
me.
can. No, it's wonderful to have you. It's obviously timely. We have a lot of information. So everybody, we need everybody to listen because there's a lot to learn here.
Yes.
But let's begin with based on past elections, let's just talk about some quick statistics. How does the city of Boston do? How many people usually vote during the midterm elections?
Not as many as we'd like to see.
Sure.
Typically, the past two midterms, we've seen about a 44% turnout, which is not horrible,
right.
But I think we could do much better, Boston. So we're hoping this year that we break that and we go much higher than 44%.
Great. Well, that's what we're here to do today and help people vote, because the city of Boston, in an effort to improve those numbers, they've started early voting, something I didn't even know that we had. So when did this begin?
So early voting began in 2016, and we're happy to be able to bring it again. It was really successful in 2016. We had about nearly 50,000 people voted early. We had about 20,000 people vote early just at City Hall alone. And we had locations throughout the city, pretty much in or near every single neighborhood. So, we learned a lot from that, and now we have the version 2.0, and we're hoping to build on that success from 2016.
Okay, so early voting begins when?
It begins October 22nd, and it ends on Friday, November 2nd.
Okay, so we've got almost 2 weeks in that time period for people to get out and vote before the November 6th elections.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how does it work? And what's a person to do?
It is so easy. You either go to our website or call us, or we'll be doing lots of advertising of our schedule. Find the location on our schedule that works for you. Go there and vote. Unlike Election Day, where you're confined to a precinct,
yeah.
Any voter in Boston, any Boston voter can vote at any early voting location.
That's convenient. So if I live in West Roxbury, but I work downtown, I can go to City Hall?
You can vote at City Hall.
I would imagine, are most of the hours that are available, are they at City Hall? Is that where the
Yeah, City Hall is our primary location. So
okay.
we're going to, from October 22nd, we'll be at City Hall every weekday, at least from 9 to 5. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, City Hall will be open until 8 p.m. for the after-work voters. And we also will have voting on the weekend, which we're excited about this year. We did have Saturday voting in 2016, but this year we have a full-fledged early voting weekend with Saturday and Sunday locations.
That's terrific. Amazing. And so, but there are other scattered locations throughout the entire city if City Hall isn't convenient, right?
Exactly. Like I said, we're going to be in or near every single neighborhood, and on a Tuesday, Thursday schedule, we'll be in 3 neighborhoods at a time on a Tuesday, another 3 neighborhoods on a Thursday. On Saturday and Sunday, we'll have a location that is in every city council district. We have 9 council districts, so we'll have 9 locations going simultaneously from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, same locations.
Now, I got to ask this question. How do you know if somebody votes, and what do you do to stop them from voting twice? What's the mechanism in place?
Yeah, so and that was one of our primary concerns going into 2016. Like, how do we prevent people from voting at one location and then going to another? And how do we ensure that everyone gets the correct ballot? Because not every voter gets the same ballot.
Right.
Based on where you live, you may have different elected officials who represent you. So we worked out that challenge by having electronic poll books to check people in. The electronic poll books have all the Boston voters are in that poll book, and they communicate with each other. So when you go to location A and vote, we have a record that you've already voted. So if you were to go right away to another location and try to vote again, they'll tell you, no, you already voted.
Okay, very good. Now, I'd imagine that you're making voting accessible to those with disabilities. What's in place?
Absolutely. Well, we have a team of trained volunteers who are trained on how to assist voters with disabilities. We also have equipment on site. We have an auto mark machine, and the auto mark machine is simply it's a ballot marking device that aids someone with disabilities, but it also aids people who have language limitations. It will translate the ballot for you. It has different ways where you could mark your ballot. If you have a physical disability, visual or auditory disability. So it's a very interesting and helpful device. And we definitely encourage anyone who needs it to use it, and our volunteer poll workers are trained to help you use this device.
So it sounds like the city had to make a bit of an investment over the last few years in order to make all of this work.
The city and the state, I must say that the Secretary of State is our partner in this, and they also help to provide the city with these some of this equipment to assist our voters.
Great. So absentee voting, that's not the same, right? What the difference between absentee voting and early voting? Can you explain that for us?
Yes, so in current law, early voting is only available to us every 2 years before the November state election. Absentee voting is available for every election for folks who qualify. It allows you to vote early, either in person or by mail, similar to early voting. However, you must qualify, and there's 3 categories. One is that you're not going to be able to make it to the polls because you're out of town, whether it be for work, school, whatever, vacation. If you're not going to be here on election day, you can vote through the absentee process. Also, if you have a physical disability that prevents you from getting to the polls, you can vote absentee. And thirdly, if your religious beliefs don't allow you to go to the polls to vote in person, you can vote absentee.
Well, let's get back to basics, though, because all of this said and done, it's not going to do you any good if you're not registered to vote. Is there still time?
There is still time. October 17th is the registration deadline. And I also encourage folks who may already be registered, but they may have moved.
Even if they move within the city, they have to, because their polling location will change, right?
Exactly. Okay. The polling location and their representatives may change. So you need to update us. You could do that through our website or through filling out the traditional paper form and send it to us so we can make sure that it's accurate. So on election day, there's no confusion, that you don't go to a polling place and then we tell you, oh, you're at the wrong place based on our records.
Right. So. Now, on October 17th, if someone hasn't registered, can they that morning register online and that's time enough? Or
they can register up until 12 midnight on October 17th online. Our offices will be open until 8 p.m. for in-person registration or to collect the forms. Can
you tell us how many people are registered to vote in Boston?
Currently we have about 400,000 registered voters, just a little bit over 400,000 registered voters.
And your department also handles the city's census, correct?
Correct.
So how many people are eligible to register compared to how many actually are?
So that is a question that I cannot answer. We do an annual city census of all residents who are 17 and older. It's, censuses, they're never 100% accurate, and we don't have the information that would allow us to determine how many eligible people are there who are not registered, because we don't have citizenship information necessarily. It is something that's a question that they could answer, but they're not required to answer it, and we often don't get that information. So it's hard to say, but I think having 400,000 registered voters says a lot for a city of about 700,000.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks seem to have passed the first stage, which is to get registered. Now we need them to come out and vote.
Right, and you said usually during the midterms around over 44% vote.
Yes.
That seems high to me, but how do we compare to other major cities?
Don't know. I'm so myopic here. I'm just focused on Boston. And honestly, we're just trying to see how we could get more folks registered and encourage them to come out and participate.
You were born here in the city of Boston, went to Dorchester High, went to school at BU, so we appreciate your service.
Yeah. So I must correct the record. So I was actually born in the Caribbean. I was born on the island of Antigua, but I've been here since I was 11 years old. So you could say I was born here. I've been almost a lifelong Boston resident.
And for 22 years, you've served our city in different placements and avenues. And
I've been blessed to be able to serve this city in a variety of ways, through public health, civil rights, and now with administering our elections.
Well, you know, as you said, we need to get people motivated to vote. What can we talk about here today to help motivate people to get out there? What's on the ballot that, you know, that people have to get out and vote on?
So we have some very interesting races on the ballot. We have the governor's race will be on the ballot,
Yep.
right? We also have the district attorney, Suffolk district attorney's race will be on the ballot. We also have, you know, several interesting questions that are on the ballot. You know, question 1, which is a question about nurse staffing ratios. Question 2 is about it's about a constitutional amendment relative to corporations and election spending from corporations.
Yeah.
And question 3 is about gender identity and adding that to the list of protected categories for public accommodations.
Sure, transgender protections, certainly a lot of emotional issues to discuss. I think, you know, we've all seen the commercials probably on TV regarding the question 1 about the limited number of patients for nurses, and it's a very, I wouldn't say volatile, but it is definitely an emotional subject, and people seem to have a very strong opinion and about all 3 questions. So definitely getting out to vote is your way of hearing.
I love when there's strong opinions, and I love when there are competitive races, because those things get people out to the polls. So, you know, I encourage everyone to read the questions, form your own opinions. What we'll do in my office to aid is that we'll translate the questions into at least 4 or 5, or maybe even 6 languages, just to aid in the process of folks getting the information so they can form their opinions and make a decision.
And at the very least, the governor, the run for governorship, you know, we are somewhat a Democratic state at times. We have a Republican governor, and I'm hearing a lot of emotional feedback from many people about what they think should be running our state. So that's an important reason for people to get out there.
Yeah, there's so many important reasons, but I think the most important reason is that it's the right. We're a democratic, constitutional democracy, and it works best when people are participating. So it's great to say that 44% turnout, but it's even better to say 80 or 90% turnout. And so I think voting, even if you vote you write your name in, you know, I just encourage people to vote.
Right. So this is all extremely important. We want people to know about early voting. So let's recap. Let's first get back to basics and make sure everybody's registered, and then tell everybody what they need to do to early vote.
Yes, so first I want you to learn the schedule, and you can do that. You can go to our website at boston.gov/early voting. You can call us at 311 or call us at 617-635-VOTE. Learn the schedule. We'll also help you we'll be doing advertising in local papers. We'll be sending a mailer out to each household that's translated into 4 languages to explain the schedule. Then the next thing I want you to remember is that any Boston voter can vote at any location. Don't think that you have to vote in the one that's near your house. If you're at City Hall or if you're in West Roxbury but you live in Dorchester, you can vote at that location. We have all the ballots there, and we'll be able to accommodate you.
And this begins on?
This begins on October 22nd, Monday, October 22nd at City Hall from 9 to 5. And it ends on Friday, November 2nd at City Hall.
And even weekend dates are available. The 27th and 28th that weekend from the times? From
10 a.m. until 6 p.m. We'll have 9 locations going on Saturday and Sunday. So on Sunday, we're hoping to see the slows to the polls, and you know, we're actually encouraging organizations who want to do events to promote civic engagement to let us know if they're going to do anything near our early voting sites, and we'll help to share that information with the community.
Early voting, that's what it's all about, right?
Yes.
No excuses. Okay. You must have a great staff, though, and volunteers in order to get to man the polls for what, 13 days total?
So I have an incredible staff. When I took this position in 2015, and I met the staff and saw how hard they worked and how much goes on behind the scenes, it was amazing. So, you know, big shout out to the staff of the election department, and also volunteers. As you mentioned, we have 255 precincts. We staff each precinct with wards and clerks and inspectors. So we have nearly 2,000 volunteers who are working on election day, and they're literally the face of democracy. They're the ones who greet the voters. They need to be versed on the election laws. So, you know, we have quite a bit of training that goes on before every election. and our volunteers go out and they do a remarkable job. So thanks to all the volunteers who continually are giving us your time and serving your community.
So you have a wonderful staff of volunteers, and I bet you're always looking for volunteers. You can always use more help?
Absolutely. We're always welcoming new volunteers, especially if they speak different languages. Another one of our initiatives is to also get younger folks involved. So we're working with the Boston Public Schools to get students to also become poll worker volunteers on Election Day.
Okay, so now we've talked an awful lot about early voting, but let's remember, voting day is?
November 6th.
Yes.
That's great because early voting is all for November 6th. Early vote ballots get counted on November 6th, and if you don't want to vote early, you can still vote on November 6th. And our polling locations will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m.
Okay, so if you procrastinate through early voting, you still have that November 6th deadline.
Yeah, you have so many options. Like you said, 13 days, like 22 locations, and then you still have Election Day.
Thank you, Commissioner Irish, for joining us throughout your busy day and helping to spread the word. And so let's do our part. Many dedicated people are working hard, long hours to pave an easy road for us. For more information, you can call 617-635-VOTE or go to the City of Boston's Election Department website at boston.gov/elections. No excuses. You have a total of 13 days to choose from to vote. And as always, we here at Commissioner's Corner encourage you to get involved. And there's no better way than casting your vote. Government by the people. Thanks for watching. I'm Lois Leonard, and we'll see you next time.